The G7 leaders, in a joint statement, vowed to impose more sanctions on Russia and to provide even more assistance to Ukraine, from economic aid to intelligence support. They said they'd find new ways to isolate Russia from the world market and cut its income, including from the sale of gold. What retaliatory measures will Russia take? In our view, if unfriendly countries have decided to impose restrictions on themselves and voluntarily reject Russian gold, we will find more pragmatic and far-seeing buyers. We can see this already happening with a number of other product categories. In a historical context, in retrospect, this has always been the case. This is not the first time that Western regimes have big ideas like this and then are the first to lose, and try to win back their positions when they have lost the market and profit.
Честно говоря, нас все меньше беспокоят новые, достаточно абсурдные выхлопы, санкционные идеи коллективного Запада.
We are less and less concerned about any new and absurd talk or sanctions ideas coming from the collective West.
Если страны действуют против собственных интересов.
These ideas are clearly unhealthy, the only possible explanation when countries act against their own interests. If they were without fear and beyond reproach, morally and ethically, if they were models in terms of upholding the values they champion, if we knew that no benefit, circumstances, financial or economic interest could change their views that are important to them, we would be taking them seriously, knowing they were doing this because they are bearers of a high moral principle.
Но мы же видим, как в одну секунду, может быть даже в полсекунды,
What we see, though, is they take all their high ideals, values and promises, roll them up and shove them on the back burner in the twinkling of an eye when they need to make up for their losses or avoid missing benefits. We've been there before. The United States has been goading the world for years with its invented story that the president of Venezuela was Juan Guaido, not Nicolas Maduro. They lived with this idea for several years, receiving Juan Guaido at their residences, inviting him to official meetings. Behind the back of the legitimately elected President Maduro, they decided on Venezuela's future with some rogue, a man calling himself president while not being one. In 1 second, when they needed alternative energy resources, their previous decisions were pushed aside, forgotten and trampled. Remember all their statements that they would never recognize the current government in Caracas. Or take Cuba. Remember President Barack Obama leaving the White House, knowing he had to enter something on the credit side on the foreign policy track, and he had nothing to offer, given how much trouble the United States had caused. Obama quickly resolved the Cuban problem, not him, perhaps, but rather his advisors. The embargo against Cuba lasted for many decades, with new sanction packages, stop lists, and statements about the persecution of Cuban leaders added every year. And so they launched an information blitz, all ideology forgotten. A fleet of planes carried business and finance representatives to Cuba, trying to
Знаменитое
present the change of
рукопожатие,
policy
в
as
кавычках,
long-term
облетело
interests
весь
of the
мир,
United States and Cuba.
когда кубинцы показали Обаме,
The awkward handshake went
собственно,
viral
как
on
они
the internet
относятся к
as
его
Cubans showed
псевдо-протянутой
Obama what
руке.
they really thought of
Я
his
думаю, что вы знаете, о
outstretched
чем я
hand.
говорю. Эти кадры,
I think you
фото и
know
видео
what I'm
доступны
talking about.
в интернете.
All the photos and videos
И
can be
вот еще
found
один пример
online.
того, как в одну секунду меняется все с точки зрения вот этой конъюнктуры.
This is another example of how
Поэтому
things
слушать
change in an instant due to
заявления
fleeting
относительно
political
того, что они
interests.
вводят новые пакеты санкций для того, чтобы
No one
реализовать
is
свои
going to
высокие
listen to their
представления о
statements threatening
ценностях
new
и идеалах,
packages of
никто
sanctions,
больше не
citing some
собирается
lofty
серьезно к ним
ideas about
относиться.
values and ideals, or take them
Хотелось
seriously
бы
anymore.
вновь, вот
The
потому
West
что
isn't
на
fit for
решительный
the role
выбор
of the
мира
arbiter of the
Запад
fate
не
of the world.
подходит. Ни
It has no
потенциала нет, ни
potential or
морального
moral
права.
right.
Thanks for watching. If you like our info, subscribe to channel and watch the next video.